I spent a lot of time in the past trying to live fast and go nonstop and chase happiness, but now I'm content. Before medical sales, I wasn't really open to taking a risk. I worked the same 312s at the hospital, which was fine. I loved what I was doing, but now being in medical sales and seeing more of the opportunity, because opportunity is everything, it's made me more open to opportunities to come about and to take the risks, and I've applied that to every part of my life. Hi, my name is Stone. I am a CrossFitter, a runner, a son, as well as an account manager in medical sales. My day as an account manager really comes down to interacting with respiratory therapists, respiratory directors, respiratory clinical specialists, and respiratory managers, as well as some managers within the materials management realm, but more so it's the directors and the respiratory managers, and trying to make sure that they're using our products and they're gaining a benefit from them, as well as the patients are gaining a benefit from the use of the products. I'm primarily in the hospitals, so a lot of my account focus is hospitals within South Carolina. For others, it can be primary care, it can be other outpatient clinics of sorts, but for me as an account manager for my company, it's being in the hospitals and being present and building relationships with particular specialties. For me, it's respiratory therapy. For others, it could be physicians. For some others, it could be nurses. It just depends on what you're selling and what accounts you're trying to manage. I decided to go into respiratory therapy because when I was graduating from high school and looking at schools, I wasn't ready for college. So I looked at Trident Tech and decided I'm gonna go get a skill. I'm either gonna learn how to weld, become a nurse, or a respiratory therapist. And I decided that respiratory therapist was gonna be the best fit for me. I could travel with it, I could always have a job and something to fall back on if things got tough. And that led me to do the 2-year program and take it on. From there, I started working at MUSC and Roper Hospital, night shift. Whoa. As a respiratory therapist, I worked trauma ER, I worked medical ICU, I worked surgical trauma ICU, and then COVID hit. And a respiratory therapist during COVID was probably the wildest ride of my life. And amongst all that, my dad got really sick with cancer and ended up passing away. So I think personally I just needed to be away from the bedside of the hospital system. The first day of me transitioning into medical sales was a bit tougher, only because I had to take the time and come back and cold call to some accounts that I didn't have any relationships with. But I did have a few solid relationships in town, and the good and the solid communication I had with those accounts, they seemed to all talk within the same network, and my name started to get out there. It's a small town, and once that happened, my phone couldn't stop ringing, and I was getting various orders for various products back to back to back to back, and it was all because of the small work on the front end paid dividends on the back end. I think the biggest change coming from the clinical side to the account management side, the biggest change was realizing that one email or one phone call that is not responded to can completely demolish a relationship and an account in general. You have to make sure that you're taking the time to stay on those emails, stay on your text messages, your phone calls, because in the middle of that is the manager, director, whatever it may be of that hospital, making sure that you are getting those products to their patients, because at the end of the day, we're trying to make sure patients have what they need. When it comes to medical sales, it's all about the community connections and just networking. So I came across the lobby and started to kind of unpack it and take a deeper dive into what was going on. And it was a gateway to not only community events, but also various jobs that were being posted, and to expand my personal network as well as grow their network. Because if you don't have a community to do so, it's harder to get that to happen. The lobby gave me some really great advice as to where to focus my attention when it came to job hunting. So when I was looking for a job, the lobby had really great resources to say, hey, this is what you're looking for, this is your background, you should probably try and match up with this or match up with that based on your background, and it's gonna be more of an easier transition for you. So it gave me a lot of direction to say where I needed to go and how, and in some cases like, hey, how fast you're gonna get there, because not everything happens overnight. Advice for clinicians looking to get into medical sales. Number one, do it. Just go ahead and do it. But when you walk into the doors for that 8-hour shift or that 12-hour shift, look around as soon as you go in your unit. Look at the companies. Look at whatever company is doing the monitors, the cleaning wipes, the syringes, the needles, whatever it may be. Those are your companies you want to start connecting with and applying to. And then when your reps come and give you an in-service, engage with them and say, hey, what are you selling? How long have you been with this company? Whatever it may be. Start networking, getting your name out there, because the medical sales world is fairly small, state by state, but you never know where you could land. 4 years ago, if I could give myself advice, it would be to slow down and not to speed up, because life comes at you fast and the years fly by fast. So take a second, ground yourself, and have some pause. I never thought I'd be at this point, truthfully. So I'm excited for where I am. I'm excited in where I'm going, and I can't wait for what's next, as well as to continue to grow.